Hey everybody, Graphite Forest here. Today with another video about how to draw. In today's episode, we are going to be learning about shapes and forms, the differences between the two, and the different circumstances that are used for each. Alright, let's get started. So, when we're talking about shapes, we're talking about two-dimensional lines and curves that are brought together to make shapes. For instance, we have the circle, or more of an egg-shaped oval. We have the rectangle, or the square, and generally speaking, we have the triangle as well. Those are the three basic shapes that we have. Alright, so the name for the three-dimensional forms of these objects is called forms. So, in the case of the circle, we have the same basic shape, and then we shade in part of it to show that there is some three-dimensionality to this object. And to shade a sphere, you depending on the lighting, in this case the lighting is coming from right here, roughly. About like that. It's coming like that. It's mostly on this side, on the front side of the sphere. And with something like that, you have an elliptical shadow. Something like that. See, so it kind of looks three-dimensional. And then to push that, you make this edge darker. You make the edge furthest away from the light darker. The darker that line is, the more readily it will be seen as three-dimensional. Basically, the higher the contrast is in the object, the more likely it will be seen as three-dimensional. Alright, that's close enough. Next we have the cube, or the prism, for any other shape that is not the same on all sides. So let's just draw that. I'm going to do kind of a skinnier rectangle. And to make it three-dimensional, you just pull one side back, and you keep all these lines that go out into the X, Y, and the Z axis, and keep them all the same direction, and then you try to keep these back lines parallel to these front lines. So these two are parallel, as are these two. Alright, okay. Then to shade this, if we were going to go with this same kind of lighting scheme, this entire side, and I'm doing this very generally, just like really quickly, just to get the idea across. Basically, this whole side of the cube or prism would be the same shade. And so I'm trying to make it look like that. Just like super quickly, you know. Nothing like super high quality, you know. Just something to get the idea across. And of course, this side, which we can't see, which I will outline right here. This was a like made of glass. Then this is what you would see. But this the outer side over there of this prism, that would be all dark, just like this side of the sphere. And then for I kind of made it too close to the sphere so you can see the whole shadow. But the shadow for this is going to follow, and of course it depends on the lighting, or the direction of where the lighting is coming from. but that will look something like this. And I'm kind of ignoring that the sphere is there. All right, so it'll look something like that. All right. And if we're putting the sphere in front, we'll just erase that. Now the sphere is back in front of it. There. All right. So on to the pyramid. Starts out as a normal triangle. And then you add a third side, or second side, however you want to see it, like this, and then for that. Now again, if we're sticking with the same lighting source of coming like this on the object, then the light would be hitting this smaller side more often, or not more often, but mainly. So, in that case, we would shade this entire side like we would for the cube or the prism. All right. If I'm shaking the camera all around, I do apologize. All right, so once we have this side all the same, and that's the thing with flat-sided forms. The three-dimensional kinds are called forms, and the two-dimensional kinds are called shapes. So, again, and in this case, I'll draw in that other side. It'd go about right there. And let me see. Yeah, something like that. There, see? It's roughly like that. I'm drawing the inner side of the other side, if that makes any sense. So this portion of it would be the darkest on the other side. And so we're going to follow the line that would be made. If the light was hitting this portion of the pyramid, then it would be something like this. All right. And then to put... There, perfect. All right, so those are three basic shapes based on these two, but then you can also do a combination of these three different forms to create things like the sphere and the pyramid together makes a cone. So it starts like a triangle, and then you just round the bottom. And the shading on these is a little more tricky. It's halfway between a pyramid and a sphere. So you're going to have this dark side again. But then as you get towards this part, it's going to get lighter and it's going to be darker at this part. What I mean is it's going to like... One way I've heard it said is that it feathers out. It feathers out. So we have it like this, and it kind of... So it's almost like it's like flattened at the top and rounded at the bottom. So that kind of look. Something like that. But I'm actually thinking about it, and this would actually be incorrect. It's sort of like this, if you can think about it like that. All right, so. And then we have the same triangular shadow that we have for the pyramid. All right, and again, lighting is coming from this direction. All right, so when you combine the, what are the other ones? Let me think. Okay, we have the cone, the pyramid, the cube or the prism, the sphere. What are the ones? Oh yes, the cylinder. The cylinder is the combination of the sphere and the prism. And that one, it has sides that are parallel. Then it has a rounded bottom. and then a rounded top like this, and then we do like an ellipse shape. So it's like that. All right, and these would be shaded sort of like this, but more direct in a way, meaning that they're going to be straight up and down, whereas this one's kind of at an angle. And it kind of flurries out towards the light side. All right, lots of shading in this episode. You see all these shapes and forms, mainly forms, they're all used in basically everything. And of course there's different variations. There's things like octagons and three-dimensional forms of that. They're all just different combinations of the circle, the square or rectangle, and the triangle. Alright, so here, and as you can see, the darker you make the edge where the light is farthest from, where it's getting the least amount of light, the darker that edge is, the easier it is to read the image. The easier it is to tell what it is and how quickly you can see how three-dimensional it is. Alright. And you try to keep it consistent throughout the whole picture, the whole object. Now in this case, with this top part, it is a solid cylinder. If you want it to be a, let me just make sure, yeah. Didn't notice that it was off page a little bit. Alright. If you want it to look like it is hollow, then you do the opposite lighting that you have on the outside. Like so. You have the darkest part where the light is hitting, and then it gets lighter and lighter and lighter until it's almost nothing. And that gives you the look. See, it kind of looks like it's hollow now. That's what happens when you do this kind of lighting scheme. Right, and then the circle, or sorry, not the circle, the shadow, the cast shadow as it's called, is going to be similar to the shape of the object. It's going to have characteristics of the prism, that shadow, where it's flat. It's flat and not rounded at all. It's got a straight edge to it. And then towards the end, it's going to be a little more rounded. All right, see? Now, I think that there are others. I mean, there are, of course, general other shapes and things. For instance, this shape, the cylinder, is pretty much like the most important form to know because it is almost everywhere. You have it in the shape of a pencil. See? It's got the cylindrical shape. At the end, it is similar to a cone. And then, like an eraser, that is a prism. Or a cube, can be a cube. Like a street lamp, that's another example of a cylinder. There's all kinds of different examples of different forms being used. But practicing these shapes and getting these shapes down is a very good way to learn how to draw. These are the fundamentals of learning how to draw. Alright, that'll be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any ideas about what I should do next time, leave them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Okay, bye.